going on, Raider Nation? Welcome to another video for the Black and Silver way. Yes, it is your host Dylan, and I haven't had a video in like over 2 weeks. The reason why I didn't do a video for the last 2 weeks is because obviously we've been in a search for a head coach. Ever since the offseason or the last game was played, we all had, a bunch of hopes for Jim Harbaugh, but Jim Harbaugh ended up going to Michigan, and then John Fox and the Denver Broncos choke again in the playoffs, which was a couple days ago, and John Fox is out of the picture now. They released John Fox, and I would have liked to see John Fox get a chance to have an interview with us. And then a lot of big old controversy last week was Mike Shanahan went to the Oakland and had a interview. I don't get why Mike Shanahan was involved in the process. I mean, I kind of understand because Mike Shanahan has had a lot of success in the NFL, and he's arguably one of the best offensive play callers ever to be in the NFL. So there was bad blood between Mike Shanahan and Al Davis, and I have the most respect for Al Davis ever, because without Al Davis, the Raiders would be nothing to this day. So Mike Shanahan and Al Davis absolutely hated each other for the last like 25 years of Al's life. Pretty much Al wanted to stretch the field, and then Mike Shanahan wanted like the screens and the different kind of offensive play calling. So they were always arguing when he was our head coach back in 89, I want to say, or 90. It was somewhere around those years. And then, after that, Mike Shanahan ended up leaving with bad blood, left our franchise, and then eventually went to the biggest rivals we have, the Denver Broncos, and ended up winning 2 Super Bowls with them, with John Elway. So, Mike Shanahan and Al Davis have always hated each other, and to think that Mark brought in Mike Shanahan to coach our Oakland Raiders, possibly coach our Oakland Raiders, is pretty weird to me. But at the same time, this franchise needs to win. Mark Davis needs to have a winning season, and all of us Raider fans will do anything to win. And if Mike Shanahan wants to bury it up, and obviously he was questioned after leaving Oakland, like, why did you go there? Because you and Al Davis hated each other. Like, why would you coach the Oakland Raiders? And Mike Shanahan said, it was a long time ago. I'm fine with Mark. The franchise doesn't bug me itself. Me and Al Davis were just always on different pages, and he apologized. And I don't like him because Al didn't like him, and I know that he's talked a lot of shit about Al Davis his whole life. So Mike Shanahan wasn't my first top priority, but at the same time, if we randomly picked up Mike Shanahan for our head coach, it would be, one of those things like, it's not what you want to see, but if you do win, then I guess it's okay. I'm just glad that Mike Shanahan's not in the picture, but I'm just giving you guys my input of how I felt about Mike Shanahan coming to Oakland and doing an interview with Mark and Reggie. Another good thing that they got from Mike Shanahan is they got some insight on Derek Carr, what he would do with the offense, because obviously Mike Shanahan is known for helping out young quarterbacks like Derek Carr. He helped out Steve Young with the 49ers in the 90s, and then also John Elway with the Denver Broncos. So he doesn't have that bad of a resume, guys, but Mike Shanahan is out of the picture. I thought that John Fox would have had some kind of we could have reached out to John Fox. He just was released about 3 or 4 days ago. So now I think the Chicago Bears are going for John Fox pretty hard right now. So that leaves us with Jack Del Rio. I brought this up in the last video that Jack Del Rio is a coaching option, but I'm going to tell you my first impressions on him, and it wasn't a good impression, is he didn't have a lot of success under the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think he went 68-71 or something like that, and he only had 1 playoff appearance. Then again, you have to look at the quarterback he had. You got to look at the actual franchise that he was in, the Jacksonville Jaguars, which have been unsuccessful for as long as I could remember. The team hasn't been seriously good, and you put all that into play. He didn't have that good of a coaching staff. All those kind of things right there can really make a coach unsuccessful, and that's exactly what happened. I think if he was given better traits, a better coaching staff, a better franchise, and better players, he could have been, maybe 80-40 or 80. I think he could have easily got way more wins than he did over there in Jacksonville. And the thing that is very, that is very calming and makes me very excited is his parents are season ticket holders in Oakland, and his brother works security at O.co. So, we haven't had a coach that was, like a fan his whole life. We haven't had a coach that has loved the Oakland Raiders, like passionate, really passionate, and that was their team before John Gruden. John Gruden was a Raider fan. His parents were Raider fans. And he was born and raised in Florida, though. Or no, he grew up in Florida. And I don't know a coach that we've had in the last, since John Gruden, since that he had, like, we haven't had a fan of our franchise. And this coach right here is a huge fan of the Oakland Raiders. And that right there is going to pretty much put everything that he has on the table. He's willing to coach his freaking heart out and get this thing turned around for his family, for himself, and for the Oakland Raiders, because he's been a fan of this franchise his whole life. So that's very exciting to see, because you always want to have a coach that definitely favorites your franchise, not just getting paid to be here. And that's what Del Rio sets himself apart from all the other head coaches out there right now. There was talk of Pep Hamilton from the Colts, the offensive coordinator from the Colts, and that would have been good because he really gets an offense going, and he's a really good mentor, and he's a really good guy. Todd Bowles was also an option from the Arizona Cardinals, but he was just picked up from the New York Jets. And shouts out to the New York Jets. You guys got a great coach, because Todd Bowles is also a great mentor and just a really good playmaker. But, I have, even though Todd Bowles is souped up and we might not get Pep Hamilton as our head coach, last night, Tony Sparano was contacted from Reggie McKenzie and was told that he is not going to be our head coach for this next year. As you guys know, Tony Sparano did as much as he could to be a mentor and to be a favorite in this locker room this year when he took over for Dennis Allen. And, I have nothing against Tony Sparano at all. There's really nothing that I could say bad about Tony Sparano, because he did what he could to get this team the 3 wins that we did. You see him pumping everybody up. You see him trying to get some team bonding after the games. And he was just an all-around, he wasn't like a quiet guy. He was more fiery than Dennis Allen was on that sideline. So Tony Sparano, I would love to keep him around, but as head coach, he just hasn't had the best resume. He hasn't had the best experience, and he only snuck us out 3 wins. And even though he didn't get a full season with us, I think that right now it's a must-win situation. We have a new offseason. I don't want to waste another year, and I think it is a good decision to go ahead and move on from Tony Sparano if we had a better option. And right now, Jack Del Rio seems like that better option. Yesterday, it was supposed to be confirmed that Jack Del Rio was going to step up as our head coach, because Mark Davis was a big fan of Jack Del Rio. The only reason why Jack Del Rio is in the mix right now is because Mark wants him to be the head coach. Reggie McKenzie wanted Tony Sparano to be the head coach. So all day yesterday, Mark and Reggie were talking about who is going to be more successful this season. And of course, Mark got his way because he owns the team. But I think that over time, Reggie McKenzie will realize that Jack Del Rio is a better option, just because of the passion and how hard that he's willing to coach this team. So today, I'm expecting right now, sometime to be today, and I've heard from multiple sources that, Tony Sparano last night, that really did happen. He got the call from Reggie, and Reggie finally called him and said that he will not be the head coach for next year, and that Mark is going to be announcing that Jack Del Rio is going to be our head coach for 2015. I don't know how long they're going to lock him in. I think they'll probably just lock him into a 1-year extension, 1-year deal for Jack Del Rio to see how it goes. The only red flag, this is the only bad thing that I have to say about Jack Del Rio that kind of scares me, is Jack Del Rio has fired more coaching staff than any other coach in NFL history. And he hasn't been a coach for that long. He wasn't a head coach for that long. So that is also a big red flag. You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of Tom Cable. Tom Cable knew how to win, but he had a freaking serious anger problem. And he beat people up on the coaching staff when he was our coach, and he was always getting in trouble. And I feel like Jack Del Rio has some anger issues, but then again, we're the Oakland Raiders, and that's kind of embraced. But at the same time, you can embrace something that's going to be so strong, it'll ruin the vibe on the team and then not want to play for you anymore. So I'm hoping think Jack Del Rio could definitely kind of smooth it out just a little bit with firing coaching staff, because Greg Olson is in contract to 2015. Jason Tarver only had a 1-year extension, so he pretty much his contract expired, I think, a couple days ago. And Mark and Reggie has told them all the people that have expired their coaching contract, they can look somewhere else right now. There's no problem about looking somewhere else. But in order to get rid of Greg Olson, we're going to have to fire Greg Olson. And that's the first thing that Mark and Reggie need to do, because when Jack Del Rio comes in, he's going to have a better offensive coordinator. He's going to know a better offensive coordinator than Greg Olson, because Greg Olson is not a good offensive coordinator. So I would love to see the first person gone. Like I said, is Greg Olson. We need to get rid of Greg Olson. Bobby April, the special teams coach, we could get someone else, but at the same time, he has so much experience, you know. It's kind of hard to believe that he's a bad special teams coach. I don't think he really is. We haven't had that breakout player to go ahead and do kick returns and punt returns like Jacoby Ford. But if we could get Greg Jenkins going on, or maybe get Tywan Jones healthy again, I say we keep Bobby April, because our special teams isn't that bad. And Marquette King had a great year. Janikowski had a decent year. But then again, Janikowski's on his 15th season with us. So you can't expect a kicker to be the way he was 10 years ago, when he's already about to be like 38. So Janikowski, he could get the job done, but at the same time, he's not as consistent as he used to be. But the fact is, Jack Del Rio is going to be confirmed as our head coach. I'm pretty excited, because the fact that he's a diehard Raider fan and his family are Raider fans, and he's coming from the Denver Broncos. He had a nice defensive coordination with them, and he didn't have that bad of a head coaching experience with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And that was the Jacksonville Jaguars, guys. I'm not hating on the Jaguars. How could you hate on the Jaguars? But I'm just saying, they've never been successful ever. And for him to be able to put that much winning into that franchise is something they've never had. So, welcome, Coach Del Rio. I'm going to go ahead and confirm it now, because I know about 5 different confirmed sources that say they're going to just announce it in a couple hours right now. So Jack Del Rio is going to be our head coach. Tony Sparano, let's keep Tony Sparano. It's up to Tony, though, because he wanted to be the head coach super bad, and we end up just kicking him to the curb and going with Del Rio. It's kind of messed up. I would be kind of angry, but at the same time, Del Rio already has a really good bond with this team, and I really think that that's true, what he was saying, that it's his team and he feels like he needs to coach them. He still can coach them just as much, but he just can't make the play calling as head coach. So I think that Tony Sparano will consider a extension. If he's offered an extension, I think that he will take it. That's pretty much it right now. You know, that's my outlook on Del Rio and the whole situation that's going on. I like how John Madden is getting in the booth again with Mark Davis and Reggie McKenzie, and he's pretty much hearing what all these coaches have had to say, and he's giving some insight for Mark, because Mark is learning right now. Reggie McKenzie is also learning how to run as GM, because let's face it, they both don't have a huge amount of experience, and I just can't wait to see what happens. I really want to see what kind of offensive coordinator we could bring in. Or, you know, Del Rio has really good connections to Mike Smith, the ex-Falcons coach right now. And he wasn't doing good as head coach, Mike Smith, but he's a great defensive coordinator. And I would like to see Mike Smith come in as defensive coordinator, Del Rio as head coach, and Pep Hamilton as offensive coordinator. I think that right there is a set for success. Pep Hamilton is an offensive genius. Mike Smith has had shutdown defense. Del Rio knows how to run a shutdown defense. Them two together can be dominant. Bobby April on special teams, that could be a really good combo. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think of Del Rio being our head coach, and if Tony Sparano is going to continue to be in our franchise. And what is your top 5 free agents in order that you would like us to grab, because there's a good amount of free agents coming up right here. I'll make a video on free agency in about 3 or 4 days, guys. Let it get a little closer to the time. Let me do some research of who I really want. Go ahead and comment below how you guys feel. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and thanks again for watching, guys. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the video with your friends, and I am also, one more announcement. I actually bought my ticket to go to the Charles Woodson Commitment to Excellence Award dinner on March 14th It's going to be at the Oakland Hilton at 5 o'clock. There's going to have a dinner. It's pretty much the Commitment to Excellence Award is not just for a player that did good during the season. It's a player that did good with charities. It's a player that is a good person that embraces to be a Raider, all around just a solid Raider. Rock Cartwright got it. Nnamdi Asomugha got it. John Kondo got it. They've been doing this for almost 13 years now. And it's this little event that they have. And this year when I found out Charles Woodson's going to be going, I figured I might as well go. I have a few friends that invited me to go. So I bought a ticket to the dinner yesterday. So I will be bringing my camera on March 14th. And I'll go ahead and record Woodson's speech and record some stuff for you guys to see how the Commitment to Excellence Award dinner ceremony goes. I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.